Yes, sir. Mayor Battles, good to see you again. Councilman Showers, everyone else. I'm the president of the J.O. Johnson Alumni Association. Not long ago, we had 350 people do a protest march here to keep our community's identity. We have 1,500 signatures on a petition that's being actively ignored right now. We went to a school board meeting last week where the school board violated their own naming policy to go ahead and vote in the Mae Jemison name. People had doors shut on them. Seats were already taken before the public was allowed to come in. If you didn't have a seat, you couldn't stand. You had to go behind the closed doors. If we're one Huntsville, how come no one in Northwest Huntsville has their vote respected or their word respected? Where are these people that support the Mae Jemison name besides the school board themselves? Macaulay, Carlos Matthews, and Raynard Jones. Where's the rest of them? Because I got people marching all over, signing petitions, voicing their concerns, and they're being actively ignored. Mayor Battle, I'm just curious where you stand in all this. Because I know you say the school boards, you don't deal with school boards. School board just does its thing, but you hold the highest office in the city. How do you feel about it? Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Ms. Jackie Reed? Mayor, do you want to speak?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, and I really would like to respond to this. I think it's one of those issues that is hitting the community. When I first came into office 5 years ago, we had a disparate school system. We had schools that were targeted schools, that were schools that were on alert, that were scoring way down here. We had other schools that were scoring way up here. And that is a serious problem. That is a serious problem with this city. We attacked that problem when Casey Wardynski came in. We attacked it with one-to-one technology. We attacked it with the STAR system, which does assessment on children. And the STAR system assesses our children in schools, all 23,000 of them, 4 times a year. We can tell if at the end of a year, if a teacher has given a year's worth of instruction, if we've had a year's worth of advancement. We also have the one-to-one technology for many of those children and many of those students who are sitting in the underprivileged homes. This is the first time they've had a computer in their home. And by having that computer in that home, they're learning technology. They're learning how to come forward. Any of you who made Laura Hall's town hall meeting 2 months ago, we had each principal come forward and talk about the advancements of those schools and the advancement of those schools with the one-to-one technology, with their plan to improve those schools. We had improvements of 25% in reading, 25% in math. That is the most important thing. If we can keep those kind of improvements, we're in great shape. The teachers also, the principals also came forward and gave their game plan, how they can keep having 25% improvements in those schools. That is important. Everything else out there besides test scores and the learning of the schools and what we learn in those classrooms is clutter. We have to have learning in those schools. And if you're going to step forward and you're going to make sure that you have learning in those schools, I applaud you. I applaud every one of you. I applaud you for being in the schools, for mentoring, for reading coach, for doing all the things we have to do in those schools to make them survive and to make them good schools. That's my emphasis. That's my focus on the education system. And that's what I'm going to push for. We have to have good schools. We have to have schools that are equal. We have to have schools in the South that are equal to the schools in the North, schools in the East that are equal to the schools in the West. That is the focus of us as a city. Thank you.
Mayor Battle, I don't think you quite understood my question earlier.
Sir, I'm sorry. They want your name and address again for the record, please.
Casey Brown, President, J.O. Johnson Alumni Association. People in North Huntsville aren't being heard. We've had decisions made for us in that area. Macaulay and Wardynski knew that they intended on closing Johnson in January. No one found out till September. Did Butler even know they were going to close till that last school board meeting? Also, the Johnson family doesn't want the name to come off that school. James Oliver Johnson was a brigadier general. He was an educator. The National Guard named an award after him. He's in Maple Hill Cemetery down the road. Reverend Johnson came to that school board meeting only to leave in tears because he wasn't allowed to speak. And they knew he was there because when they did finally call names for people to speak, his name wasn't called even though it was on the list. I'm talking about people being shut out in this city. Their views not being honored. Their ability to shape their own community stamped out. At a school board meeting, Wardinsky said, new schools get new names. He opened the floor for that discussion, so I walked right up. I said, where's the naming committee for that new school on South Parkway? Grissom flipped out. The next day, they had surveys, and they stated if you weren't in their district, you couldn't be on their survey. They surveyed the students the next day. This woman that was sitting here, Jeannie Roberts, was so rude to everyone at that meeting, making unnecessary comments. So disrespectful. Do you think Northside got the same respect to have a survey? No. Lori McCauley met with a select few that agreed with her. She appointed someone to VP of the PTA. That same person she appointed to the naming committee. That same person appeared with her weeks before wanting the name to be Mae Jemison in an AL.com interview, in a picture with Mae Jemison. That's not even pretending to be objective. So the few are outweighing the many in North Huntsville. This school board, and whatever that mystery committee is, outweighs everyone in North Huntsville. I've asked them for the minutes in which they requested the name to be changed because they said a citizens group requested it. No one can give me the minutes. So this meeting was done in a back room, like I said before. In a PTA meeting, they admitted it was done on Facebook. You change the identity of our community on a Facebook chat? So Mayor Battle, I'm asking you, can you please see about getting some transparency in this? Pretend there's a little bit of fairness in this? Because it seems like Grissom's getting listened to, but Johnson's
Sir,
not.
your time's up. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council?